All right, this is recording 784. I'm Christina Stacia. My website is christinastacia918.com. I made it easier to get to my website. I know that she is hiding my name somehow in the government, Jean Roberts, and she's pretending to be me. So I literally got a domain, made another domain, and then linked it to my site. So you can also type in speakingtothecia.com, which is the name of my podcast. So you can go to speakingtothecia.com, and it's going to take you to my website. Okay, so I've got a couple of different recordings to do. This one is going to be on terror attacks that Jean Roberts and her Manson occult committed this week. Again, every week I go through crimes that have occurred, and there's so many I can't report them all. And the ones I decode, or the ones I can decode, where I know that Jean Roberts is the one who committed the crime, I turn her in for. So this is a continuation. So Czech Republic, Russian house in Prague pelted with Molotov cocktails on March 26. On March 26, an unknown attacker threw several Molotov cocktails at the Russian Cultural Center, Russian house in Prague 6, damaging the facade with fire. The incident occurred around 10:30 p.m. with up to 6 incendiary devices thrown. Though the building did not catch fire, Czech police are investigating. So you can obviously tell syrup is one of Jean's themes. It's her main theme. You always know when Jean Roberts and her Manson occult committed the crime. So anyway, what she's doing here is, okay, so there's a couple of different things going on here. So number one, she's pissed off that I sent emails to Russell, telling him, if you're involved with Jean or committing crime with Jean, you better get your ass into the police. It's not a freaking joke. If you're running some damn nasty little con with Jean Roberts helping make terrorism money, or if you're involved in any of her terrorism, you better get your ass to the police. Okay, and then another one was me emailing my dad, letting him know what was going on, and then me emailing my grandma Stacia. Well, Jean Roberts has been posing as my family, okay? That's what she does here in Tulsa. I live here in Tulsa. My dad lived in Slidell, Louisiana. She's got this whole con she's running. She's got paid liars that work for her, and they all pretend that they know my family, and my family's just asking them to run around and spread lies and stalk the shit out of me and make terrorism money, like my family would be telling anybody to do that. But they claim that that's what they're told to do. No, that is Jean Roberts posing as my family. Jean Roberts is my dad's ex-girlfriend. She's created this huge stalker network, and that's exactly what they do, is they make money spreading lies. They commit crimes as small as running breaking and entering rackets, like breaking into people's homes and businesses, hacking them, destroying property, all kinds of stuff, all the way to spreading lies and then trying to funnel it into, some of it into Hollywood. Hollywood is like, I don't understand. Like, it's something I don't understand. Like, I know Hollywood is wise to Jean Roberts' occult and Jean Roberts' con. She really tried to con them, but they've been wise to her for a few years now. But she still manages to, like, con people. So they've probably just washed their hands, is probably what it is. I mean, you can't stop Jean from being a criminal, but you can turn her in. So anyway, so the fact that this was at the Russian Cultural Center, now Jean's got a real obsession with Russia. And I know you guys know that because of my ability to have a mental telepathy connection to Russia when I lived in Oklahoma City. 5 years ago. And that's when Russia was finding out that Jean spread AO bioterrorism all over the planet, that she was hiding her world dominion plot. She's like making my voice like sound like it's quivery. It's not quivery. That's people that are controlling my body and my speech because they've been out lying to people, and they're going to proceed continuing to lie to people. I don't know what the hell for. I mean, these people make the United States look like effing idiots. Anyway, so he came on and I got to talk to him quite a bit. I got to tell him everything that Jean had done to him, everything I decoded. And then he said he was going to have a permanent connection to me, but then try to hijack my connections when I got here to Tulsa. But then they still let me, their intelligence community still let me know that they still have connections to me. But I mean, we're talking about global terrorism. Jean Roberts is a terrorist. Jean Jernigan Roberts. She is a Benedict Arnold. She's claiming the United States gave her permission to do whatever the hell she wants to do and trying to break apart the United States government. And she can just run wild with her Manson occult, commit crime, and spread lies, and just do whatever the hell she freaking wants till the United States is destroyed. That's her freaking story. And she does that using my name, me, Christina Stacia, pretending to be me, and then stealing my decode, turning her in. Turning Jean in. So anyway, I mean, it's just like a 3-ring freaking Barnum and Bailey circus of John Wayne Gacy. I mean, these people are freaking idiots, and they're deadly idiots. And then they suck in naive and idiots and sick people, and then who stays clung to them? The sick people. So they're a vortex of freaking muck and schmuck. Anyway, so also in this, you could tell that Jean Roberts committed this crime, so she's having a fit, okay? She's angry that I emailed my family because she's trying to pretend that she's related to me and she's not. So another thing that she's using here is she's acting like she's got some kind of ownership of, like, her thing is like, it's stupid. For me to even have to describe the stupidity of Jean Roberts is asinine. But she wants to act like she's giving everybody the smackdown, okay? So when I made reports around the world, one of the groups of people that I made reports to was The Hague, okay? Because that's where the International Court of Justice is. And then I decoded a whole bunch what she did to The Hague. She even tried using ICE to control them, like in building their foundation, okay? I could see her knick-knack, paddywhack all over the place. And then when I got here to Tulsa, I can't remember what I was going to say, but when I got here to Tulsa, I decoded even more that she pre-planned to wield them without any control, of being able to hold Jean Roberts and her Manson occult globally responsible for global terrorism. Okay, and I decoded all of this in researching the International Court of Justice. I could see back in time how she was like, put this here and put this there and put this here, but like I could see it, like I could decode it in my brain, and I was like, no, that's not the way it's going to work, Jean Roberts. You're going to go to jail, you and your Manson occult. So anyway, and then you also know the conflict between which she's surfing on, the conflict between Vladimir Putin and the International Court of Justice, where they tried him, and then he was like, no, and there was a thing back and forth between them. So I guess now she's comparing herself to Vladimir Putin, Jean Jernigan Roberts. and she'll just act like him, and she'll proceed as she planned to tell the International Court of Justice, no, she's just going to do what she wants. So anyway, so another thing that she's using here is, so you've got Prague and Hague, and then you see the HP. She's using hide in plain sight, one of her themes. She's also using base 6. Okay, so you're going to see my previous podcast on base 6. And then, the Czech police, she's using that because she's saying checker, like checkerboard, like checker, like the black. She's referring to vans, checkered vans. She's, oh my God, she's just freaking beyond freaking. But anyway, so Gene Roberts appeals to mainstream idiots that think that checkers goes to vans. And don't take time to find out that the person them feeding them full of shit use ICE to pre-plan the popular van's design to meet her agenda, which I decoded like all the checker, like I decoded all that. Some of that I didn't even like write down. I decoded a lot of it, turned a lot of it in, but some of it I'm like, I don't need to, because I'm not going to give her like more of, I'm trying to turn her in for committing crime. I'm not trying to give her more of, oh yeah, we'll just use that since you know that. And then, so like keep her contained, if you will. So anyway, so that's that one. Okay, then Bulgaria, woman on the run after stabbing 4 Germans in central Sofia. So she's using Battle of the Bulge, okay, and she's referring to Charles Manson. She's calling Germany Charles Manson. And then the white sofa, okay, my sofa when I was little in the 70s, my mom and Jeff's sofa. Okay, so she's using that, so she's calling herself Charles Manson. She's basically saying, I don't freaking care, I'll do whatever I want. And then she is using Sophia Loren. She's using Sophia Loren, Ralph Lauren. She's probably making a reference to 1986 because she's pulling out another famous name like Sophia Loren, like what she did in the terrorism ciphers that she wrote before I got to Chicago in 1986, when she routed me into Chicago by using ICE on my family and myself, then everything would start unfolding. So anyway, and then the stabbing, Jean loves knives, so, she's going to use that. And then on March 26, 2026, a 39-year-old woman allegedly stabbed 4 German nationals in 2 separate unprovoked attacks in central Sofia. The suspect was detained shortly after midnight and has been charged with attempted murder. So also what she used here is the 39 reduces to 13. So she's using her Betsy Ross XO signature. And then the next one is Cyprus bomb destroys florist storefront. In the early hours of Thursday, March 26, an improvised explosive device destroyed the storefront of a florist in the Cato Polmidia area of Limassol, Cyprus. So remember I told you I decoded that she crashed the Cyprus economy. She pre-planned to crash it and she crashed it. I decoded it. So she's making a reference to that also. Like she's saying she doesn't care that she committed these crimes. She'll just commit more crimes. And then also she's using Cato Kalin's name. And then also she's using improvised explosive device, IED. She's being disgusting with that. She's getting revenge because they called her fallopian tube. So she went and committed a terror attack. The next one is South Africa. 4 suspects killed in shootout with police in Johannesburg. So this one, you can pretty much figure out that Gene Roberts and her Manson cult committed this crime, which you might not figure out, is that she used Deauville College. So she's saying, she's using Deauville and she's saying She's changing the D to a Y, and she's saying F you is what she's saying. Then Germany, knife attack reported on train in Saarland, southwestern Germany. So this one is connected to the one in South Africa, and even you can tell by the initials she uses GAS, and she's using the artist Jermaine Dupri as a theme. And it would also go back to the 70s. My little favorite flowers when I was a little girl in the 70s were geraniums. Then my favorite flower became the Indian paintbrush. She has used both. So the next one is United States, 2 killed, 2 critically injured in shooting in Wilmington, Delaware. So here she's using Arlene Brown. Somebody made a funny joke about throwing a voice in my brain, made a funny joke about Arlene Brown, and I laughed. They're like, just ask Arlene. Gene Roberts likes to pretend that I'm Charles Manson. I'm not in Charles Manson. Gene Roberts is the leader of Charles Manson. I am turning her and her occult in. So anyway, so she's making a reference to Arlene Brown here. She's also making a reference to the Flintstones. The next one is United States, 2 suspects arrested after U.S. Park Police officer shot in Washington, D.C. This is at 7:30 on Monday in the 5000 block of Queen Stroll Place. So what she's using here is Elton John. Again, how many terror attacks is she going to commit? Using Elton John. Saturday in the park, I think it was the 4th of July. Gene is obsessed with trying to blame the military, which I'm going to get to another stunt that she pulled and another terror attack that she committed in a minute. Okay, so she used that. So United States flow line leak at Lake Barre, B-A-R-R-E facility in Terrebonne Bay, Louisiana. So anyway, she's using my dad's name, and she's using my dad's next door neighbor, retired sheriff, retired Navy. His name is Terry. She loves using his family too, and so she's referring to him as Terrebonne Parish, and then Terrebonne Bay. So flow line leak. So she's using that, and then also she's saying, to see I'll decode on flow. That's Charles Manson, water, death of pigs, everything else. She likes to pretend or has something where wolf the wolf, W-O-L-F. Again, we're talking about, like hungry like the wolf, Capezios. She likes to have this fantasy that Oshner stands for wolf. This guy, I can't remember what his freaking name is. Just control my speech. I think there was a man that worked there. He was an executive, and I think that's what one of his names was. And so she's like adopted him. That's her person, and she keeps referring to him as Wolf, is what's going on there. But she thinks she's the spokesperson of Oshner, she thinks she's the spokesperson of everyone, and I cannot even believe the woman's not arrested. So anyway, Belgium explosion at Ghent University Veterinary School campus. So again, she calls everybody gentlemen, so I know that she committed that. And then she's also making a reference to Belgium waffles. There's more inside here, but it's easy to figure out she committed these crimes. India, 2 killed, 2 injured after a gas cylinder explosion in Varanasi. I know instantly she did this. I wanted to see what is not already in there. But you see the heart in there. March 24, 2026. So what she's referring to here is Viper. Remember in my previous podcast, I couldn't remember the name of the snakes that she's got underground that will electrocute you. And I'm like, what is the name of that snake? What is the name of that snake? I was trying to think of what it was, and they're vipers. And so That's what she used and went and committed a terror attack in India. Then the next one, the Gulf of Mexico, there was an oil spill in the Bay of Campeche, Campeche, Mexico. What she used here was, she used marzipan. Okay, so marzipan is like this candy. I don't really know exactly what it is, but I've decoded it before from my childhood in the 70s. She used marzipan and manzanita. Manzanita is a couple of different things. Manzanita means apple in Spanish, okay? Manzanita is also a speedway, a racetrack in Arizona. My mom and Jeff love racing. They're huge NASCAR fans. So when I was really little in the 70s, when they first started going to see races, I was in grade school, and the first track that they went to was Manzanita. Okay, so I decoded a bunch of ciphers that Jean wrote, stalking the heck out of my family, me and the rest of my family, and she used marzipan and she used manzanita. Now, what she's trying to do here is she's trying to be funny with spinning the word marzipan and still committing the same crime she's always committed. So she's trying to blame the Marines is what she's doing. So she committed these crimes. So then, before I even found out that she committed this crime, in my brain, all of a sudden I see this like really fat guy in a uniform, and he's sucking on a lollipop or a sucker, like in a military uniform, and he's sucking on a sucker, and he's trying to be super like sexual, and he's like in my brain like looking at me, and I'm like, are you fucking stupid? Like, I'm like, who the fuck is this? What the fuck is this? I'm like, are you stupid? Like, what is your freaking deal? So he like got in my brain, either somebody told him to do that and he didn't know what he was doing, or he's trying to racket his own crime. And then her people go, and that's from the Marines. That's what they said in my brain. And that's from the Marines. And then the actual United States military, who is on also paying attention, and they're like, that guy is not a Marine. That's one of her militias. Because who in the hell would do something like that? But apparently that guy thought it was funnier than hell. Just, run around committing terrorism and running trafficking rings and, keep Washington Madam like free to frickin' buy and sell and any age, anywhere. Just keep it frickin' going, man. Just keep committing the terrorism. Like, that guy needs to be in as much trouble as Jean Jernigan Roberts. And the girl that goes, and that's from the Marines. So anyway, that is all for this recording.